eat something like that? Fortune and glory, kid.
Next time, you wear blindfolds, okay?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Baked Disney, the best of Disney Baked Fresh Daily. I'm your host, David, and I'm here on a Wednesday night, on March the 4th night for a very special occasion. Today is the 25th anniversary of Indiana Jones Adventure. As such, I think that's a pretty good reason to celebrate. A good reason to come to Disneyland on a Wednesday night and celebrate an attraction that has set itself apart from all others for the past 25 years, and I'm looking forward to tonight. Disney's got a few special items that they're going to make available to guests during this promotional week for Indiana Jones Adventure for its anniversary, including tonight and tomorrow, for that matter. Actually, no, it was yesterday and tonight. Annual pass holders are going to get to ride the attraction after midnight, or I should say after closing, which is 10 p.m. tonight, and that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Along the way, we're going to get to try some special foods and treats that are made available just for this occasion. Some dinner at Bengal Barbecue. We're also going to be going back to the Tropical Hideaway again for like the third time in the last 4 weeks, because they've got an amazing looking treat that we're going to try there as well. I'm looking forward to this. Also at the Adventureland Bazaar, we'll be looking at some merchandise. There's a new ginormous Indiana Jones Funko Pop that I've actually already got my hands on. Well, I'm going to be getting my hands on a little bit later this week, hopefully. So we've got a lot of fun in store for you tonight. But we're going to start. Our adventure begins in Tomorrowland, actually, which is kind of strange. We have to go to Tomorrowland to get our wristbands for the after hours party, for the after hours ride through of Indiana Jones. We got to go to Tomorrowland, hang out with some APs, and check out that scene. Well, you know, at first I thought I was going to take it pretty casual about this. I was just going to, you know, maybe do an intro, slide in here, grab my wristband, and be done with it. But I'm glad I got here in a little bit more of a hurry than I originally planned to, because there was a very long line. Just, it's amazing how popular these events can be, these AP events. If it's anything like the Small World, you just get to ride, and that's it. You get to ride, and maybe get your picture taken. I got a wristband. I got a cool wristband. You know what? The best feature about this is going to be able to see the park after 10 or after closing. But anyway, the crowd was long, but a lot of people here for this event tonight. All right, well, back in Adventureland, and before we get into the main festivities, as it were, I wanted to talk a little bit about Indiana Jones Adventure, the attraction, and just give my thoughts. This being the 25th anniversary, it's a good reason to look back on and reflect on an attraction that, you know, it really is one of the best in the world when you think about it. Now, I say that, I hedge when I say that, because it's not my favorite attraction. It isn't, but mostly that's because of the ride vehicle and my own, you know, motion sickness issues. I would rather it be just a rather smoother ride myself, but other people seem to like the ride vehicle. In any case, what I'm trying to say is Indiana Jones Adventure has delivered in ways that it still today, to this day, is one of the most complete attractions you'll find anywhere in the world. From the very beginning, from the exterior queue, where you get to look for all the references to the film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Jeep, obviously, the minecart from Temple of Doom. Obviously, the whole exterior queue is fantastic, and it is considered a benchmark for theming. Getting into the queue, then there's pull the bamboo to lower the spike ceiling, legendary. Pull the rope to what was his name? What's his name? It's Dunfer Pullet. Dunfer Pullet. It's so good. And then obviously you've got the petroglyphs that are in Marabic, for Mara or Marabic, I guess. You could decode these messages throughout the queue, so it's got that element too. things that ahead of its time in terms of interactive cues, which they're still trying to figure out to this day. And that's why I say this attraction holds up against anything that you could look at in any amusement park, theme park around the world. Rise of the Resistance is trying to rise up to the level of Indiana Jones Adventure. And of course, you've got the actual ride, starting with the ride vehicle, an innovation, a Tony Baxter creation, a second evolution of the ride vehicle from Star Tours that Tony said, hey, let's take the Star Tours vehicle and put some wheels on it. And there you go, Indiana Jones Adventure. It's crazy. And you know, like I said, it's not my favorite ride mostly because of the ride vehicle, but that's my own problem, not yours. I can recognize greatness when I see it, and that is Indiana Jones Adventure. It is a great ride. All right, guys, it's time to get into some dinner at the Bengal Barbecue, one of my favorite places to eat in all of Disneyland, and they've got a special dish here tonight. Well, for actually till the 8th, until March 8th, the Char Siu Cantonese pork rib bowl. It's pork ribs basted and served in Cantonese barbecue sauce, and it looks fantastic. I cannot wait to find out how this is going to taste. Well, I had a really good feeling about this dish, and I was not disappointed. You could smell the pepper coming off of this thing, which, by the way, that's a good thing in my book. I do love me some pepper. It was fantastic. Okay, I'm not exactly, the first authority on ribs or even fine dining in general, but I know what I like, and I will put those ribs up against any I've ever had anywhere, you name it. Those were fantastic. $16.99 for the plate. You got 3 ribs and a heaped bowl of rice, or a scoop of rice, as it were. But this was fantastic. It was all I could do not to lick my fingers after eating this, for obvious reasons. Now, don't go away, because we got more coming, including the dessert over at Tropical Hideaway. But first, let's do a little shopping at the Adventureland Bazaar. Okay, well, it's time to do a little shopping at the Adventureland Bazaar to find out what kind of Indiana Jones merch we can get ourselves into, especially stuff that is featured or specific to Indiana Jones Adventure to celebrate that 25th anniversary. This might be the biggest pop I've ever seen. I mean, that's impressive. Look, he's holding the idol. Throw me the whip. Where's his whip? There it is. Throw me the idol. And they have obviously featured the attraction rather than the film, even though that's Indy from Raiders of the Lost Ark, because he's holding the idol. And it's not Mara, right? That's not Mara, is it? I don't think that's Mara. Maybe it is Mara. Oh boy, now I'm confused. But on the back, they give you a little bit of story from the attraction, the Indiana Jones Adventure attraction, and that famous shot that we've been seeing for 25 years of the bridge and Mara's eye. Here's the limited supply, I guess. I don't know what I'm calling it. I won't say limited edition, but special event t-shirt, Indiana Jones Adventure, Live for Adventure, Fortune, and Glory, which is words to live by in the world of Indiana Jones. And they've got lots more Indiana Jones stuff here. They've got a whole corner of the bazaar dedicated to Indiana Jones. Action figures, play sets, hats. The little, you can even build your own ark right here. That's pretty fantastic. and a classic Raiders of the Lost Ark tee. Get your Indiana Jones hats. I really wish I had one right now because I see a lot of people wearing them and I'm jealous. Well, that's the Tropical Hideaway, guys, and somewhere in there is a specialty Dole Whip. They say it's just loaded with chocolate, but I'm telling you, there's some dirt and bugs in there too. A perfect homage to Indiana Jones because he does love himself some dirt and bugs, especially if you've seen, like Temple of Doom. There's a lot of bugs in that one. Too bad, I guess, I'm not getting some lumpia today. If I were, I would already be served. But instead, there's this line to get a Dole Whip. My goodness, that's a half an hour, isn't it? Yeah, they said a loaded chocolate Dole Whip. More like a pineapple raspberry Dole Whip topped with chocolate cookie crumbles, chocolate sauce, a chocolate cake pop, gummy snakes, chocolate dipped cookie sticks, and mango strawberry fruit blend. That's got to be the chocolate cake pop right there. I'm so curious what to do with this thing, man. Woo, looks fantastic. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? By the way, I didn't even mention that when I got my Indiana Jones Dole Whip, they gave me this card, this commemorative card. Oh, it's the decoder on the back. Look at that. It's the official alphabet of Mara, which we were just talking about a little bit ago, about Marabic. I have one of these, but it's different. But that's pretty neat. This is one of a kind, guys. I'm going to hold on to this forever and ever. And they also gave me a free spork. So this has been a red letter date. That's a 99-cent value right there. If I get it to focus, there we go. Now it's 99-cent value. Now I get to eat this. Well, that was a bit of a surprise, I must say. Now, I'm a Dole Whip fan, but I like a Dole Whip float myself. I've never really had much of the candied variety like this one. I guess that's the way to put it. I've never had chocolate on a Dole Whip, for one thing. Plus, that looked like a two-man job for sure. But I managed to polish that off, all but the boulder, the cake pop on there. That thing was solid as a rock. And I don't eat with my hands anymore. So I couldn't really figure that one out because you can't really cut that with a spork. But all in all, I would have to say that was a very nice, very lovely dessert. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the worms. Oh, I should say the snakes, and the dirt, and the chocolate, and the strawberries, and everything in there. It's a really good dessert. And now the only thing really left to do is to go ride Indiana Jones. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's almost past closing. We're gonna ride Indy after 10, and then get a really rare look at the park well after closing, because I expect by the time we're done, well, that is, unless they don't have a photo op, we were here till a good solid hour and a half, 2 hours after closing when we did Small World. Maybe we'll get the same thing tonight. Stay tuned. Curious. There's no crowd developing. It's about 10 minutes to 10, and there's no queue. Small World, this time the queue is super deep. Interesting. Well, a little bit of line has started to form at 10:07, although I asked a cast member, they said they're not going to start letting people on the ride, I think, until 10:30. So this is some kind of pre-board or something.
I can use you.
Do you imagine Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford himself, might have actually been in that very rig? They say it's from the film, but they don't say, like, if that was... They probably had 3 or 4 different trucks, I'm saying. That may not be the one. You know what I'm talking about? I find it humorous that I have to come to an AP exclusive event after the park closes in order to sit in the standby line. I've done this once before. I find that humorous. By the way, that other time was 100 years ago when they updated the ride and they switched out Mara's voice, remember, from James Earl Jones to Doogie Howser, I think. And away we go. I mentioned story earlier. One of the cool things about this attraction is that the actual queue itself tells a story. There are items like this left throughout the queue. They're actually kind of hard to find, but they're, Indy's notebooks, kind of like what you find from Last Crusade, I should say. His father had a notebook like that, but there are journal entries and notes about the findings here in the temple. Picking up on that conversation from before, the more I think about it, the more certain I am of how well this queue and this attraction hold up against the very best. We could talk about Harry Potter, Rise of Resistance. Like I said before, this doesn't take a backseat to anything that I can think of. Look at this queue, you guys. Come on. Look at where we are. I'm in a cave with bats. I'm in a forbidden temple. Can you imagine a scenario? And I get why people may not rank this one. I didn't in my top 10. I think I had it 6 or 7, and that's only because of the history. But damn, Pirates ain't got this, man. Haunted Mansion ain't got this. This is the complete package. Themed queues, interactive entertainment. You got guests deciphering codes right now. They're all trying to figure it out. Looking for, Easter eggs, hidden Mickeys, nods to this, nods to that. They're just little touches that you want to explore. This queue is so deep with things to explore. And as I alluded to, in the previous conversation, and then you get to go ride, and you get to see things like Mara, the giant Mara with the laser beam eyes that come at you as soon as you make that left turn after running into Indy. The colors, the complete detail all around. That scene with the apparition in the rocks. The boulder scene at the end is legendary. It's legendary. Why isn't this attraction talked about more? I cannot believe I'm having this conversation right now, knowing that I'm part of the problem. As I reflect.
Temple of the Forbidden Eye. According to Jones, the temple contains a chamber of destiny, where an ancient idol lured visitors with promises of gifts, eternal youth, earthly riches, or visions of the future. But many who looked into the eyes of this double-dealing deity took a detour to doom. A chilling tale indeed.
For the longest time, I couldn't find hardly any of the letters, but I think they maybe once were scattered throughout the queue, but now you find most of them. This is just my guess, but most of them are now in this locked cabinet, which are very difficult to stop and see, which I'm doing right now when I probably shouldn't be. But I feel like it's worth exploring, worth having some concerted thought over whether or not this might be the greatest attraction ever built. Am I crazy? 25 years. 25 years, time enough to reflect. It's funny, I still feel like this is a new ride. In the terms of Disneyland history, it is the newest ride where it was until Rise and Smuggler's Run came along. Oh, and Toontown, I forgot about Roger Rabbit. Fails, fresh baked, it never fails. I come to the park by myself and I start getting all reflective and poetic, thinking about things. If I'm not doing a Wednesday or an acoustic, I'm doing a special feature on Indiana Jones, falling in love with this attraction. I was not expecting this tonight.
Hello, oh, my friend. The prince may be needing a little adjustment, but easy on the nerves.
Next time, you wear blindfolds, okay?
Okay.
Celebrate your arrival. If you drink too much,
A couple things. Did you hear me say, oh? Oh! Right at the boulder scene, the Jeep stopped and it lurched forward and it snapped my back in half. Second, I am definitely sure that I'm going to have to find some sort of qualitative argument or conversation to compare, you know, Indy to Rise of Resistance, or Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, to figure out if there's a way to measure qualitatively, because that's what I do. And that's it, guys. I guess there's no photo op. I thought I heard a cast member say something about there being a photo op in front of the Jeep at the end, but I don't see anything here. By the way, if you're noticing a change in my in the color or how the picture looks, I had to change the picture profile for the on-ride, and I forgot to change it back. So we're just going to close out the show with this picture profile because that's it, guys. We've done it. We have attended the Indiana Jones After Hours event. I guess there is a photo op after all, and it is with the Jeep. It's just not the real one. It's a cardboard Jeep. Oh my God. And a cardboard snake. I saw the snake backstage at the Bazaar over there, and I was wondering what that was for. I thought, hey, can I get a picture with that? I thought that would be cool. I almost asked the cast member. I'm not going to wait in that line for that though, because my phone is dead, and I miss my wife and my baby, and that will probably be another 30-40 minutes before I can get out of here. So I'm going to take this opportunity to sign this off. There we go. That's a little better. Had to get a little more light into this sucker. I'm still figuring this camera out, guys, so be patient with me on that kind of thing. There's so many different ways to play with this, so many different ways to use this camera. So, okay, so thoughts. I was not expecting, I thought this was gonna be about the food for me. Being able to enjoy the new ribs, which they were great. And the Dole Whip at the Tropical Holiday, also great. Being able to ride Indiana Jones after 10 o'clock, that's pretty cool. Seeing Disneyland like this right now is pretty great. I mean, very rare opportunity to get to see this. What is it? Is it even an hour? I don't know. My phone is dead. What I was not expecting, as mentioned, was to fall in love. Even though it nearly broke my back tonight, falling in love is very painful. I can attest to that. I was not expecting to have as much adoration for Indiana Jones as I do tonight, because you know, thinking about this, like I mentioned before, and I'll say it again, 25 years, you know, I mean, compared to some other attractions run Disneyland, I know that's not a very long time, half as long as some others, but still 25 years is a long time. Long enough for it to get its respect. And Indiana Jones Adventure, I think, has earned a lot of respect from me tonight, just thinking about it. And by the way, Tony Baxter, nobody does it better. Nobody has done it better than Tony Baxter. I think I can say that with certainty on an individual basis, pound for pound. Tony Baxter is the greatest Imagineer that this world has ever seen, and I'll take that to my grave. I will die on that hill, whatever term you want to use, phrase you want to use to describe it. The greatest Imagineer that ever lived. His rides are the best. Big Thunder, Splash Mountain, Indiana Jones, and Star Tours. Disneyland Paris. I don't even want to forget, I mean, almost all of Disneyland Paris, right? So, if I'm going to have the argument that Indiana Jones is the greatest attraction of all time, I have to think about that, because still, you know, I mean, history means a lot to me. I've also got to have that thought that Tony Baxter is the greatest Imagineer of all time. And this is a conversation that I was not expecting to have tonight. But there we are, Fresh Baked. Our evening is done. Some folks are going home very happy, as am I. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, because I got another video. Like, they never stop. I love you guys. We'll see you next time. Hey, by the way, two things that I want to remind you all to do. One is wash your hands. Okay, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. Even if you don't care about your own personal health and well-being, do it for the others, because when you wash your hands, you don't pass it, okay? It's not about keeping you safe necessarily, it's about keeping it all safe. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. 2, be kind to each other, please. Be kind. Hey, you know what? Do us all a favor. Sometime today, when you're out enjoying your day, be kind to a stranger. Do a favor without thinking about what it means for you, if it's a burden or anything like that. Just be kind to somebody. It means a lot. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to that stranger, especially that stranger. And 3, I love you. I'm just gonna throw that in the top. I love you guys. I love Disneyland. I love Fresh Baked. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.